Tesla Model Y was unveiled this week, but what now? Where is Tesla moving from here besides the pickup truck unveiling later this year? What does this mean for Tesla as the company moving forward? I'm going to tackle this question with my friend Tom Moloughney, the contributing writer for InsideEVs, and of course in our weekly segment called Plugged In with Tom Moloughney. All of this is coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric!
Welcome to E4 Electric, your daily scoop of electric car news, and all you have to do to get it delivered specifically to you every day is to click that subscribe button down there. It's free, and as soon as you click on it, the magic happens because you also become a part of this amazing community. All right, so as you know, we're doing this segment every week where Tom gets to pick a topic, the hottest topic of the week as far as he's concerned, and we talk about it. But the last couple of weeks, including this one, the topic got picked for us. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Model Y unveiling, but this time we're going to do this in person because Tom came to the unveiling with me. Now, you're going to have to excuse us a little bit because this was about a 14-hour workday, essentially, just hanging out with everybody and being at the event and taking all the videos and footages and stuff like that. We were just exhausted. And the only place we found to do this video at the end of the night was the lobby lounge in our hotel. So excuse the visuals, excuse our, maybe a little bit laxy-daisy, kind of tired attitude, but I thought it was a great conversation. So yeah, before that, of course, I want to remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by the Accelerate Auto, the business leasing for electric cars, and this is the only way to lease a Tesla Model 3. So if you own a business, or if you work for a business that allows you to lease the cars there, check them out. Their link to their website is in the description of this video. Go ahead and get a free quote and see if this is for you. This is the third-party solution everyone's been kind of looking for, and definitely let them know that this guy sent you, because they will definitely take care of you. All right, guys, without further ado, this is my conversation earlier this week after the Model Y unveiling with Tom Moloughney.
Well, we actually met in person to do this video, which is always great to see in person.
Always is. I flew all the way out to California just to sit here and do this video interview with you today.
That's exactly why we met today. No, but so we just came from the Model Y unveiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first actual Tesla event. I had been invited to previous ones, but just the timing never could make it. So I thought this would be the one that I would make, and I'm here.
Well, this is my third one. So what are your thoughts now that you've seen this in person?
Okay, well, it's a fun event. Let's face it, these Tesla events are exciting. There's a lot of pent up, enthusiasm. People want to know what Elon is going to do next. So they're fun events to go to. That said, I think this one probably was a little bit less exhilarating than some of the other ones that I watched live streamed. There really wasn't a whole lot of new information that we learned here today. We got to see the car, which looks great in my opinion, but really didn't learn too much. We learned the pricing and the different levels, but I was kind of hoping that maybe we'd see the hatch open, would see it in the different seating configurations. That was good news that it's going to be available in a 7-seat configuration also.
That was pretty much the only news that we've learned. Everything else I thought everybody kind of predicted.
Yeah, I mean, we got the hard pricing with the miles and the different versions, but the 7-seat is definitely something that we weren't aware of, and I think many people were predicting it wasn't going to be available because of the size of this vehicle. If you look at, say, a Model X, which is much larger, there's not a lot of room in the back of the Model X for that third row seating. So how are they going to get it in the Y? And after sitting in it, and you and I were able to take the test ride, I'm still a little confused on how that's going to happen, because there didn't look to me to be enough room in the back to really have a full seat. Maybe it's going to be the small jump seats, but to me it just didn't seem like there was going to be enough room back there to get another row of seats in. I wish that they had one of them here with the third row seating configuration so we could see it.
Well, so I kind of have the same takeaway. There was nothing sort of, we're used to this, and there's another thing, and there's this and that, and we just didn't get it. But, I also think that could be a positive thing that they finally decided not to overpromise, not to stack up in another car. Like, I wish there was a pickup, but I wish that as a customer. But for the brand, maybe it's good for them to slow down and just, slow and steady.
Yeah, I agree. There's that. But he also did roll in the Semi and a Roadster. So, it wasn't like we only got to see the Y. He had the Tesla semi-truck parked in the back, and then the Roadster came in also. So it wasn't just the Y. We got a little eye candy also.
There was a history lesson, too.
Yeah, it was a little, I mean, I understand why he did it, for the first half an hour or so. Elon really just, for those that didn't watch the live stream, he went through kind of a brief Tesla company history and introduced all the different cars, and so that kind of was, for most of us here, was just like, okay, let's get on with this and let's see the Model Y, because we know all this. We've been covering it for 10 years, but we weren't the only ones watching it. There's a lot of people on the live stream that maybe people new to the brand that information was important for them. So, I understand why you'd want to do that. But I think for us here, we were just like, okay, give us something. Give us the Model Y, show us, drawings of the future pickup, or give us the redesigned interior for the Model S and X. I think, and we were talking about this beforehand. Everybody was talking about, well, what other goodies are we going to get? Are we going to get the pickup truck information? Are we going to get the interior? What are we going to get? It's not just going to be the Model Y, because Elon always gives you a little bit more, teases you with something, but we didn't get that this time. We just got the Model Y, and that's enough, because it's a really cool vehicle. I think if that was available today, I think it would maybe double the sales of the Model 3. It's competitively priced. If they can launch it at only $4,000 more than what the base Model 3 cost, this is the kind of vehicle that people are buying today. These small crossovers, the small SUVs, that's the vehicle that everybody is. Look, Ford and GM are dropping their sedans because everybody's buying crossovers and trucks and SUVs. So this is the type of vehicle that people buy. If this were available today, I believe wholeheartedly it would outsell the Model 3 by a wide margin.
Well, so what do you think this is going to do to the Model 3 sales? Because, or even the reservation list, because they're taking reservations, well, orders now, and we'll talk about it in a second. But, do you think a lot of people will decide to go with a Model Y instead of Model 3 because it's a hatchback? Well, it's actually like the only reason, right? And there's only a few thousand extra dollars. Do you think the Model Y essentially is now a competition for the Model 3?
Yeah, it is. I don't know how many people are going to hold off, because Elon promised or stated that the Model Y was going to launch late 2020. So we all know in Tesla speak, that means, mid 2021, when there's any kind of volume production. And there might be a couple ceremonial deliveries in December of 2020, but we probably won't get volume production until sometime in 2021. So now you're looking at 2 years. So I don't know how many people are going to hold off for 2 more years. How many people can? If you need a car, you need a car. And so, there'll be some, but there's always that next greatest thing. It's like smartphones. If you wait for that next smartphone that's coming out in 6 months, you'll never have a phone. So, there'll be some of that, but I think most people that want an electric car will get one now, and then they'll trade up.
Well, once the both of them are on the market, do you think Model Y would be sort of a thunder stealer from the Model 3?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's gonna, in my opinion, really bite into Model 3 sales.
What about Kia Niro EV and Hyundai Kona EV, and there might be a couple of other, SUV compact SUVs on sale by then. I mean, you've test driven Kona, and I've just driven Kia Niro. What do you think? Like from what we know now, as far as pricing and the features and everything, what do you think? Do you think Model Y would be a better choice, or do you think some people will go for Kia and Hyundai?
Well, I think some people will go for the Kia and the Hyundai. I think the Model Y still is a more compelling package. It's, it's sporty, it's much faster, it's got that it factor. It's a Tesla. It's it's a desirable car. People see them driving down the road and their heads turn. They look great. They look very distinctive, and they're performance vehicles. I happen to like the Kona and the Niro EV that you were talking about. I may even get a Niro. It kind of fits what me and my wife need, but it's a totally different vehicle than the Model 3 or Model Y. So I think that there's enough room for all these cars. First of all, I don't know how many of these cars Kia and Hyundai are going to make. We already see that they're constrained with their battery production, and the Konas that are coming out now are getting marked up because they're in such demand.
By up to $10,000, I've heard.
Yeah, in California, up to $10,000. Now, luckily on the East Coast, I've gotten reports that they're mostly selling for MSRP.
Okay.
So they're not really gouging, but there isn't that strong demand for electric cars on the East Coast as there is in California. But the Niro's not out yet, so we'll see when that arrives how that's priced. But the fact that there's only going to be a couple thousand of them a year coming into the States, that it can only take a couple thousand sales away from Tesla if they were going to have the entire market for that segment. So I don't think that the Kona or the Niro is going to make any kind of dent in Tesla's demand.
Now, let's talk about where does this leave Tesla now? Now they have the Model 3 at the $35,000 mark. Now they have the Model Y unveiled with, sort of production plans. Now they have the Shanghai factory on their way to be built and producing cars. Yes, we just went through like turbulent times of going up and down with pricing and stores closing. But if things just don't change, like if this is how things are going to be, and let's say Elon just does not tweet ever, forgot his password for the rest of the year, where do you think Tesla is right now? Do you think it's a really good place for them, or do you think there's quite a few other things they need to figure it out?
Well, I think I would personally like to just see some stability, some stop with the price changes, lowered one week, raised the next week. We're closing all our stores one week. This week, well, we're closing some of our stores, not all of our stores. That has to stabilize. It really does. And hopefully that it will. And the Model Y won't have any kind of significant delays. Wouldn't that be amazing if that actually launches when Tesla says it's going to launch? If they could, by the end of next year, be making it in some kind of serious volume, a few thousand a week by the end of next year, that would be amazing. They'd be in fantastic shape. I don't think Elon should stop tweeting. It's part of who he is. It's part of what people love about him. Maybe think twice about each tweet, and not put something out that you need damage control done 3 hours later. But
once about the tweet, the second time about the SEC.
Yeah. So maybe think just a little bit before you hit that send button, but it's part of who he is. It's part of his whole charisma, and I don't want him to stop tweeting. I just maybe a little more of the customer interaction tweets, a little less on the SEC and whatnot tweets that can get him in trouble.
Okay, so last question. Now we know they're not taking reservations, like they were with Model 3 or the $1,000. They're taking pre-orders, and you can configure it at $2,500. So it's hard to compare, but what would be your guess? Let's say by the end of the weekend, what do you think where they're going to be with their reservation count or order count?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near what we saw with the Model 3, even though, in my opinion, it's a more desirable vehicle. And a couple of reasons. Number one, it's $2,500, which is a lot more than $1,000. So that's number one. Number two, I think that a lot of people didn't see the value in the Model 3 reservations that they placed. I mean, you know, for me, for instance, I was a first day reservation holder. I went and stood online in New Jersey and placed my reservation, and by the time, I was not a former Tesla owner, so I didn't get pushed up to the front of the line. By the time I got called that said, okay, you can configure your car, they were opening it up for everybody. So it was like, great, you know, I had, you know, for two and a half years or whatever, you know, it sat on the money, and I really didn't get any value out of that. You know, I might have been 2 weeks before somebody who just put in an order. So, you know, I think that combined with the fact that it costs more is going to really kind of hold down the reservation list. You know, I don't think we're going to see anything near like what we saw. I'd be really surprised if it broke 100,000.
Well, all right, should wait and see, but it's good actually talking to you in person. But I know next week we'll be back with our segment over the wonders of internet. So I can't. So hopefully next week you'll get to pick the topic once again, because last couple of times the topic got forced at it.
It picked it for us, yeah. So it always seems like during the week we'll be thinking about, well, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about that, but then something happens with Tesla, and we have to talk about Tesla. So
I will see you online next Friday.
I'll see you virtually then.
All right, just like I said, we were just about to fall asleep right after that. I believe we did once we went to our rooms, but it is always fun to hang out with Tom. This is what, second or third time we are actually chatting in person on camera. Of course, next Saturday we'll do this over Skype, and you will see that. I don't know which topic we're going to be forced on us, but hopefully not. Hopefully this time around, Tom will be able to pick the topic. Of course, you can read his articles at InsideEVs.com, and I always do, and I definitely recommend you guys follow him there as well, and here on this channel. All right, I'm looking forward to your comments and opinions, of course, in the comment section of this video. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.